So I'm sitting here legitimately fighting these guys that they're trying to put me into this van. And I got a couple of them off of me and I was able to eventually get away. But that was terrifying. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Founder Fires. Super excited to dive into today's episode because we're going to be talking about what it actually means to do hard now and experience easy later. Everyone wants to talk about being at the top of the mountain. Nobody really talks about like the early days of eating shit as you're on that journey up. And one of my favorite things that I like to share with our team is the concept of hard now, easy later, and in reframing what hard really is. Most people that say they're having a hard time aren't really having a hard time. You can be having a legitimately hard time in your business as an entrepreneur because you're doing hard things. And you can be having a hard time in your business because you're not tracking data and things are hard because you're just not being very, very intelligent with what you're doing inside of your business. So the concept of hard now, easy later is like, what is the most difficult and hardest constraint within the business that I need to address now? Right. And not putting it off till later. And then the other thing is what hard really feels like. Right. So for me, I am fortunate enough to have a high volume of extreme circumstances that reframes what hard feels like. Right. So when I'm feeling like I'm wrestling with an 8,000 pound gorilla in my business, and I have to sit down and think through, man, like, how do I do this? This feels emotionally draining. It feels taxing. One of the things I remind myself of is just the other times in my life where times were actually substantially harder than what I'm experiencing right now. Perfect example was I went to Nigeria and I got malaria and I thought I was going to die. It was the most excruciating thing I've ever experienced firsthand up until that point. My lungs felt like they were going to explode. My body felt like it was just aching top to bottom, like it was just being compressed. My head was hurting nonstop, super sensitive to light. I was sweating profusely, and I just felt like it legitimately felt like I was close to death. Right. So that was hard, right? That was really, really hard. And then being in Nigeria for 3 years was hard. I lost like 40 pounds because I was only able to eat one meal a day. And I was getting like 30 to 40,000 steps a day. And I almost got kidnapped at one point. So I was in Nigeria, in order to get the best rates for your dollar to convert to the currency in Nigeria, which is a naira, I had to go to the black market because I was getting the best rates there. Lo and behold, somebody has been observing my movements to the black market, and they had timed when I went to go exchange my dollar for naira, because you have to do it in cash. So I have a bag full of cash. I try to make it as discreet as possible, but I have a bag full of cash. And these guys, as I'm walking to the bus station, these guys cut me off and say, surprise inspection, we have to take you into the police station. And I'm like, no, I'm not going with you. So I ignore them and continue walking. And then another guy comes to cut me off. And then another guy is grabbing my arm. And another guy's trying to grab my bag. Mind you, I'm not as this large, intimidating figure that I am now, where I'm 270. I fluctuate anywhere between 270 to 275. Right. At that time and point, this is like 2017. I was like 190. Right. 195. All right. So I was a frail human being, still relatively bigger than the average Joe, but I wasn't like as massive as I am now. So I'm sitting there fighting these guys for my life because they're trying to put me into this van, saying they're going to take me to the police station. And then somebody comes out who is in uniform and it's saying, hey, these are my guys. Like, you need to come with us to the police station. I'm like, I've done nothing wrong. I'm not going with you. So I'm sitting there legitimately fighting these guys that they're trying to put me into this van. And I got a couple of them off of me and I was able to eventually get away. But that was terrifying, right? Because what transpired after that event was I missed the bus to take me home. And I had to end up walking through the most dangerous part of Lagos, Nigeria, which was Oshodi, at night. Can you imagine walking through a third world country at night in the most dangerous part of that third world country, and you've got a bag full of cash? I've never been more scared for my life than I was that night. I was by myself trying to get home in this foreign country. So senses are super, super heightened, like heightened to a superhuman level. I'm like noticing everything. My head is constantly on a swivel, looking over my shoulder, making sure nobody is following me. And then I see these guys waiting at this corner, and I needed to cross the highway to get to the other side of this highway. And you're sitting at this corner and they're drunk, clearly drunk. They look like they're in a gang and they're having some type of argument. And one of them breaks a bottle and puts it to the throat of the other guy. And they're like sitting there there's this fight about to break out. And I'm like, I need to get to the other side so I can find a taxi driver to take me home. All right. So I'm like sneaking around the other side and I see an opening to get there, and I start walking through. And this car pulls up and stops in front of me. And this woman, she rolls down the window. She's like, son, what are you doing out this late? And I'm like, I missed my bus. I'm trying to get home. I'm terrified. She's like, you're American? Have you lost your mind? Why are you in Oshodi at 12 o'clock at midnight? Like, what is wrong with you? And so I am so grateful for that woman. She gave me a ride home. Like, that's how concerned she was for my life. So she gave me a ride home, and I get home and I lay down I had never been so excited to just sleep on concrete. I get home, it's late, it's hot, and I lay down on the concrete because that's where it was coldest, and I fell asleep. All right. So I share that because anytime I'm tempted to bitch and moan about the difficulties of handling different situations inside of my business, I remember those types of stories, and I have a bunch of them. But that is what hard really feels like. So when I feel like things are hard in my business right now, I'm like, I will take that hard. I would take this hard that I'm currently experiencing in my business over that hard any day of the week, twice on Sunday. Like, it's not even close. So sometimes in order to get the courage to tackle the most difficult things inside of our business, the things that makes us feel completely inadequate, the things that makes us feel like helpless, either you need to reframe and go to the opposite extreme of what hard really looks like. And you can reference my story if that's going to help you, or find somebody else's story that you can, where they explain in detail, just like how extremely difficult their life was. And then that gives you the right frame and be like, you know what? This is the hard that I'm choosing to embark on. This is the hard that I'm choosing to have, right? That hard wasn't a choice when I was living in Nigeria. Like, that's just every single day was like some variation of that extreme. This is a hard that I'm choosing because the payoff of solving this hard problem is far greater than any other hard problems I can tackle in my life right now. So that frame makes it so much easier for me to embrace those difficult conversations that I need to have in my business, those difficult circumstances. It gives me the courage and the authority to call my team higher and to be willing to apply pressure to the team and say, hey, I need you to get this thing done, and raise the bar on what I expect from my people, because I know what hard feels like. And so I can encourage them and say, we said we are going to do the hard things now so that we can reap the benefits of the easy times later. This is what hard feels like. And if you want something that you can compare this hard to, here's a story from an extremely hard circumstance that I've had to live through. Right. And hopefully this hard that you're doing now as a result of a vision and the result of our ambition and the goals that we've set is much better than that hard time that you had to go through in your life that you didn't have a choice about. We're choosing to do this hard thing. We're not being forced to do this hard thing. Our lives don't depend on doing this hard thing, but we are choosing to do this hard thing because the alternative is reliving the hard circumstances in our past that we didn't get to choose whether or not we had to go through them, with no payoff other than the payoff is just surviving. The payoff of the hard circumstances a lot of times I had to face in Nigeria was just like, I got home to live to see another day. And that was good enough. All right. So I share that just to encourage you who are in the thick of it, who are going through the hard circumstances within your business, to just know, like, hard now, easy later. Do the hard things now, and you're going to experience easy things later that comes as a result of you doing the hard things. And an encouraging thing is that the pain will always pass, but the beauty will remain. The pain of the hard things that we're doing now will pass, but the beauty that's created from the hard things that we're doing will remain and hopefully will outlast us. Right. And so that's what I'm hoping. The pain that I'm enduring to build the company that we're building now, and the hard that I'm enduring now, is going to pass. And then either my family or our team or others will reap the benefits of the easy thing that comes as a result of us doing the hard thing now. The pain will pass, but the beauty is going to hopefully remain. So hopefully you found it helpful. Go ahead and share your 6-word update. What did you get from today's episode? And I'll catch you in the next time. Till next time, stay calm, change lives, and have business on your terms. Peace.